Aha! I was gonna say, like, some ninjas, they are not noticing this person tailing them. Yo!
A kid? Is she a human from the mainland? Or...
Yo!
What happened?
Who is she?
So are the creatures just protecting these folks?
Why did a bonsai just pick a fight with you?
I guess it's another type of monster.
Gabimaru!
That girl might know something about the island, and this is the only lead that we've got.
Chase that intel!
Hold on! What about this thing?
Dude, it's a literal stick.
You guys can handle it!
For real.
You're kidding me!
What do you mean you're kidding? Like, just
I can't let
fucking
Gabimaru out
burn
of
the
my sight.
stick. It's a stick.
Good luck, Sentadono!
It's just a Groot. Just shoot it apart.
Excuse me, but I need those.
That's too bad. I can't let you see all of my tricks.
That's so funny.
This guy is on the weak side. It's a chance
Yo,
to test my
she's a
skills.
goopy girl. It's
I gotta see
Cobra.
if my ninjutsu works on monsters
She's an
after
ooey
all.
girl, an ooey gooey girl, as they say.
It seems like you're familiar with the forest. Talk with me for a sec, okay?
Yo, she knows judo.
Gabimaru!
How'd she do that? There's no way a Kidron could be that strong.
Don't run away!
She's not
I
human.
promise you we don't intend to hurt you. We just want to ask you some questions.
Good. I thought you might not understand.
Yo. She was gonna murder that broad.
I know it. This isn't just brute physical strength.
It's magic.
It's something different. This place is full of stuff we can't comprehend. This girl, the village, the monsters and statues.
She's the Iron
I thought it would
Fist
be
of
a
this
simple
land.
job. Find the elixir. Receive a pardon and go home to my wife. Not sure if you are or not, but you look like a human child. I'd like to go easy on you. Problem is, I'm desperate. Which means I might forget to do that.
Stop
Good
it!
cop, bad cop with this thing. String him up! String him up from a
Listen.
tree!
I'm sick of this mess. I just want to get my hands on the elixir of life. So don't force me to do anything else.
Goodness. Start talking, dude. Oh shit, is she gonna call all the
What do you
monsters there with
expect?
her
What
cries?
should we do?
Let her down, for one thing.
Yo. Okay.
Well,
This is
we
a
got
whole
her.
ordeal.
That's good. Now that I get a better look at her,
Duality
She's
of
just a
man and
normal
duality
child.
of personalities is another
What's the big
theme
holdup?
I'm picking
You
up
guys
on.
just shooting the breeze? Because I worked my butt off back there, you know.
Did you learn anything? What's next?
can you tell us where the elixir is now?
She can't until she stops crying.
Well, I doubt any of us are good with kids.
Please.
Did that
Oh
thing...
shit.
Yeah, I guess it
Okay,
can
they're
talk.
finally understanding that things are sentient.
The girl. Give her back to me. Then I'll take you to the village and tell you about the elixir of life.
Yeah, I'll pass. It's awesome that you can talk and all, but that doesn't mean we should blindly trust you. It's safer to just ask the little girl.
She's not wrong.
I have some food I can share with you.
We're all stocked up on food, thanks.
A bath as well.
Bath time, bath time, bath time, bath time!
We know nothing about this thing.
Wash the
I'm
goop
not
off
sure
of
that it's
you.
wise to trust him.
Look, if it can tell us something about the elixir, I say it makes no difference who it is. Besides, if it tries anything, we can just kill it.
We've arrived.
It's like a ghost town here.
Yeah, what kind of bath are you
Mist is
getting
so
there,
thick.
fam?
I don't see anyone around.
It's only been this way for 1,000 years.
1,000?
I'll show you my home.
I wonder how old the tree is.
Look at all these decorations.
Everything looks so old. You don't really live here, do you?
I never tell lies.
Then I have a few questions.
Right now.
Oh, I bet he has a friend
Chit-chat
that
later.
tells
You
only
promised me
lies.
that, so show
We
me.
don't have time
Post
for
it up
pampering.
in front of a pathway. Oh, so there actually is a bath. Okay.
Man, I missed bathing.
I thought that it would just be like a run through bath. Oh, it is a run through bathhouse.
Something about her.
But it
I'm
works.
sorry, there's nothing I can do.
What do you mean there's nothing you can do? I guess
Why is
actually there is
everyone
nothing
around
you
here
can do
so
because you're only
meek?
supposed to observe
Oh,
them.
Gobby. It's
And,
important to take
I
breaks
mean,
whenever
maybe
you
kill
get
them
time.
if you need
Until
to.
You want to come in here and...
No.
Boo, you're no fun. Even Sagi's taking a dip.
Who? I'm just acting as your monitor. Sentadona wouldn't be comfortable. So he and I have switched places for
If
now.
you're acting as her
won't
monitor,
shirk my
then why are you
responsibility.
putting your sword down? Yeah, exactly.
Jeez,
You're just chilling, fam.
it's no use. I'm so exhausted, there's no way I could resist. But we shouldn't make ourselves at home after the way we barged in.
I am just expecting her to get a knife pulled on her
Oh,
at
how
any
nice, you
point.
brought some washcloths. Thank you, that was thoughtful.
She sure seems to like you.
Maybe she can't speak.
They have pottery and
Damn.
an actual well?
Don't drink that. Not until we know what this thing's intentions are.
Yeah.
Right. Of course.
We have food as well.
Bruh.
All right, then I suggest we find out everything we need to know as soon as possible, so that way we all...
Take the risk if you want to. It's your funeral.
Damn.
I
It's
assure
wasting a
you
lot of
they're
water
not
that way.
poisoned. She eats the same ones.
So, what's your relationship with that girl?
That's one thing I will not share.
That's fine. I care about the elixir, so nothing else is relevant. Got any insight on that?
Then why ask
Like where it's
about
hidden?
anything else?
Anything at all about this place?
Sweet, they've got food here. How could you start without me?
Sorry, I couldn't wait.
Let me get in on this. I'm so hungry.
Oh, I didn't realize the
Well, this
peaches were
sucks.
like
Seems we got
Neapolitan.
distracted.
You aren't eating?
I didn't come here to have lunch, okay?
I'm not sure what humans generally call this place. We refer to it as Kotaku, or Shinsenkyo, home of the
Okay,
gods.
yeah,
It's entirely different from
I'm
the gods and
unsure on
Shinsenkyo
whether
I've
or
heard
not this
stories
food
about.
is poisoned.
I always believed that gods were like spirits.
I've never left this
Typically, you're not supposed to eat food in the underworld, though. You know, like Hades and Persephone with like the fucking, what's it called? The seeds, pomegranate seeds. Part of me wanted to say apricot, but I knew it wasn't that. Pomegranate seeds with Hades and Persephone. Like Persephone went to the underworld, ate the pomegranate seeds, and because she ate food from the underworld, that means that she couldn't go back to the overworld. So I hope that these folks aren't trapped on this island for eternity now that they've eaten this food. But yeah, we'll just have to see, I guess.
island, so I wouldn't know anything about that.
Get to the point. The elixir of life is real, right?
Of course it is. The story goes back to ancient times. In legends, we called it Tan, the precious source of eternal life. That's what you seek.
What? Ton?
It's not a mandarin?
And where is it?
The island is divided into 3 regions. The shore and the forest are Eishu. This village is located in the middle region called Hojo. At the center, shrouded in mist, is Horai, where Tan can be found.
The 3
All this is both
walls.
useful and fascinating.
So looking for it in the woods was pointless? And the picture was totally wrong?
There is an elixir. see my wife again.
Just calming
Have you
himself.
seen the elixir with your own eyes? No. Better yet,
Your
do you
own
have
tree
any proof
holes.
that you're not making all this stuff up?
You'll eventually encounter the Tensen. And after you have, there'll be no doubt I speak the truth. They'll be all the proof you require.
Can they regenerate? Yeah. Oh, they're plant people. Okay.
Undying, ageless. The Tensen are eternally beautiful, perfect beings. I assume you've already battled some of the Soshin on your way here, but the Tensen
Oh,
are
my
far more
lord.
terrible.
These
Nothing
motherfuckers are
stands a
dense.
chance against them. I know you found it strange when I so meekly invited you into my home, offered you food, and freely shared this information. I believe it was the least I could do. After all, it could very well be your final request.
That little twig
All
snap
humans who
was
arrive on the island
pretty
are slain.
hardcore.
The Tensen never allow anyone to leave.
What do you mean all humans are slain?
Yeah, you're leading us into some kind of trap, aren't you?
I feel neither affection nor contempt toward you. I simply told
I'm
you
literally
the truth.
just a tree.
The Tensen kill every human who dares to trespass here.
Then tell me who these Tensen people
Are those
really
brothers
are.
that I liked already dead?
They are the most important inhabitants
Fuck,
of
they are.
Shinsenkyo. They command the Soshin and administer punishment to the guilty. Namely, any human being who does not belong here. But take comfort in this. The recipients of this punishment do not simply die.
Yo.
They are reborn as magnificent flowers, released from their sin and worldliness, to achieve eternal bliss.
Yo. I hope at least this guy survives. Oh,
The
okay.
lives that have been
not
transformed
dead yet.
into flowers then become the source of Tan.
That's just how the legend goes, right? There's no way we're supposed to take it literally.
The elixir of life is most certainly real. As you see, I received one of its blessings.
Wow.
The hand grew back.
You told us
Regeneration.
before that you've lived for 1,000 years.
More than that. He said
she
the
have the
village has
same
only
gift
been
as
run
you?
down for 1,000 years.
Stop! Don't point that at her!
Huh?
Wow, nice. You suck.
Oh, sorry.
Whether you believe it or not, this island truly is Shinsenkyo. The gods decide the fate of any human who comes here. Escaping from it will be no easy task.
But not impossible, apparently.
You're following me to the bath?
Sentadona wasn't willing to trade this time.
It's fine. I'm just going to rinse off my wounds anyway. Besides, we can't have you getting too relaxed, huh?
I'm not relaxed.
Well, you were earlier. After the bath, you almost fell asleep.
I did not.
Did too.
I did
So
not.
stubborn.
I
The
did
island
not.
has 3 areas. The elixir is in Hodai,
I did not have
Center.
sleepiness.
but the Tensen are there watching over it.
Not at any
We
point.
got a lot of useful info, but it's still confusing.
Do you think it's alright for us to trust those two?
I go by the name Hoko, and the girl is May. We were both born here many centuries ago. We call this island our home. All we want is to continue living quietly, so please let us be.
I don't think
I mean,
they
yeah,
were
she's
lying,
living pretty
but I
fucking
can't
quietly,
accept
isn't
everything they
she?
told us. At least,
Not the whole Tensen thing, right?
It's a familiar term based on mainland Shensian belief. Tensen are a group of highly revered hermits. Soshin
Oh,
and
okay, so
Hodai.
they are the
I
hermits,
believe
yeah.
those names come from foreign Taoist philosophy.
We can figure out the history stuff later. What matters is whether those Tensen things are gonna get in our way. Honestly, I
I'm
would
gonna go
prefer
out on a limb and say yes. Oh, Jesus Christ.
that we try not to waste more time.
I didn't expect that. Hold on. Why
Why are you taking your clothes off?
Because it's a
Told you.
fucking
I want to
bathhouse,
clean
dude.
my wounds real quick.
But there's a young lady in here too.
It's not like it matters. Back in the village I come from, everybody shared the same bath. Well, except the chief had his own.
Yeah, the chief is living bougie.
This is no time to worry about etiquette.
God damn, the scar. Holy
Her hair
shit.
and skin are in terrible shape.
Oh my god.
She has supplies for bathing, but they haven't been used.
Does she literally
Perhaps
not
she doesn't
know
have
how?
someone like a parent to teach her the right way.
What the fuck? So is she like thousands of years old now too?
I'll create an Edo-style bathhouse experience using what you have. Focus on relaxing and getting clean, and I'll do everything I can to facilitate.
What's the point of all this?
I need to repay her kindness. Thanks to her, we were given shelter and a meal.
Yeah, she's a hell of a bargaining
You're
chip.
also stretching yourself too thin. You should relax while you can.
Get
use
in this
that to
pot of
scrub your
hot
body.
water.
My parents made me help other people with their baths, so I'm good at it. This is ash and a camellia oil cake. It's not much, but I brought it from the mainland. It's for your hair. Look at that. You're all clean now.
Makeover.
I can't do anything that'll make your scars go away, but it is refreshing, isn't it?
So is that other plant guy that got cut in half by the
Why isn't
brother?
bath such a big deal?
Is he just gonna, or they, are they just
We've
going
got
to
so
have
many
like
more
a
important
huge
things to think about.
slashing
We don't even
scar
know
down
her.
them? It didn't seem that way when they were regenerating.
Too thin.
Okay, the more
You should
this
always get
deja
plenty of
vu is
rest,
happening,
but
the more I
especially
think
when
his
times
wife
are
isn't even
stressful.
real.
Oh yeah? Is that right?
It certainly is. By the way, since you and I are married, there's no reason for you to be so embarrassed about me washing your back like this.
Oh yeah, is that right?
It certainly is.
I'm not embarrassed. I just hate baths.
LOL.
They wash away the tension I need for fighting.
I want to be dirty and stinky.
Are you saying
so I
I'm
can
robbing you
fight
of your
better.
strength?
What? No, that's not what I meant.
I told you, you're stretched too thin. If you don't take opportunities to rest, then you'll collapse before you can win the real battle.
Did you say real battle? Is something coming up? What's the job?
Not that. I'm talking about your life, of course.
Life's battle.
Live with peace and honor. Do your best to adhere to your convictions.
How does she have
Sometimes
these
you need to
values if
conceal
she
them or bend
is
them.
being raised in
But
the
no
same
matter
village
what,
as him?
Never let go. Even the Battle of Kawanakajima cannot compare to the long, long battle of life. You and I are fighting together. You're the general, I'm the strategist. My advice is to rest.
Well, all right.
Now then, let's get you into the water.
Not happening! I hate the water, okay? I'm clean enough already, aren't I?
Yo.
He's like a cat. Tomorrow we'll be living together.
He's
which
got
means
sensory
we won't be able to use my
issues.
father's bath.
So?
As the general, can I give some strategic orders too?
Of course. Go right ahead.
Don't hide your scar behind your hair. I'm sure you must have your reasons, but it doesn't bother me in the slightest. You really don't have to do that.
Aw.
Oh, this is just the way I prefer to style my hair.
It is? Really?
But if this is what my general wishes, I'll change it. I'm so grateful.
Hey kid. Those scars across your back, you shouldn't be ashamed of them.
Sometimes a woman doesn't have that option.
Well, I disagree. Because I know of a woman who has a terrible scar. But there's no one more beautiful than her. Appearances don't matter at all. What's with that look on your face?
I'm shocked. It's not like you to say such respectable things.
What a nice, respectful man.
Perhaps he isn't the horrible
I wonder how
person
long
Daddy
that
was.
fucking awkward
Part of
pause
me wants
was.
to believe that. Maybe
Girl
this
grabs
means
your
that he's
shirt,
beginning to change,
looks at you
little by little.
expectantly, but is non-verbal.
Once I took a break,
Like, how long do you just stand
started to
there
feel the
before
way
you
I
just
did
fucking
when this
walk
whole
away?
thing began. I know what's important, and I don't have time to sit around and chat. I won't forget that again.
He needs to learn how to kill immortals. Well, hey, that was that, folks. This is pretty cool. The duality of man, right and wrong, taking both in stride, white and black, turning them gray, existing, living, not for the sake of anything special, but just to live. Hell's Paradise, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see more of it later, but yeah, thanks for watching, and have a good life. Peace out. Mwah.
Yeah, it's
So,
topsy-turvy,
yeah, like what turns you into a Groot, and what turns you into an androgynous angel, whatever, you know?
flower
I'm just
person.
interested. Yeah, flower, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the fact that, because I thought maybe it was a hive mind on this island too.
Sure,
I
I
thought
can see
maybe
that.
it was all connected and like the island was working against invaders, but no, it's people, individuals. So that's and the fact that they have different thoughts on what to do with the intruders as well, because they usually don't get that far.
Right.
It's remarked upon that they usually are killed by the weird, malformed, half-baked deities. So the fact that they got this far, they're like, oh, should we actually kill them immediately, or should we like play with our food and then kill them?
Yeah, and
So-
that dovetails into episode 7. But yeah, I guess initially, Noah, for your first time watching, what did you think of the Tensin whenever you see them show up? Because up until this point, like I mentioned, there has been no intelligent life on this island at all. It's just abominations, religious deities of many fish shapes and sizes, pretty much a lot of aquatic inspired things. But these are like actual flower people. I guess, what did you think of them initially in your first watch?
Yeah, it was kind of...
Go ahead. Oh, no, go ahead. I assumed it was for me because this is your second watch. So
no,
that's
you're
what I
fine.
thought.
You're fine.
No, go
Ray
ahead.
to go first, and then yeah, Whiz after you.
Yeah. So yeah, it was shocking for me. Like the first time I remember watching this, it was just like, whoa, okay, we're just doing it. We got lesbians on the screen. All right, that's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's shocking because you're like they go into this clearing and then it's just like, oh, bang, right in the face. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, they're doing this, I guess. Whatever.
Yeah, but like you know, it's the first time that the show is like exploring any sort of like sexual themes really, and so it's, you know, they really like their shock value in the show. So like flashbang, but
yeah, it does feel like a sexual flashbang a little bit.
Literal flashbang.
yeah, right?
Literally.
But
flash and a bang.
But you know, it's interesting in the nature of it, because like it's, you know, two ladies getting it on, and then all of a sudden one of them like just transforms into a dude man, and it's like, oh, okay, he was just like experiencing it from the other side. Cool, all right, cool for him.
Yeah, it reminds me of Elden Ring with America when they do that.
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah.
That really kind of ginned that up for me too. But yeah, Wiz, what did you think about that scene too? You wanted to say something earlier.
Oh, I was just gonna say, for the initial shock value of it, like making out on top of what looks to be a dead god's carcass is just badass. That's all I was gonna say.
It is a cool visual, yeah.
Just like imagine just like a celestial from like the Marvel universe or something, just like, yeah, I want to make out on top of that. Let's make out on top of the dead god. Or like after Kratos like kills a Greek god or like a Norse god or something, just like, let's just make out with someone on top of, like, I just thought that was funny. I don't know what the corpse is. Like, I don't know what that thing is.
What if we kissed on the frost giant? What do you say about that?
No. I just thought that was like a fun visual, like kissing on top of the carcass of a long dead, probably deity. I was like, all right, that's fun.
And we haven't. Another thing is we haven't talked about the titles of this show. I love the theme song. First of all, we didn't even start at the top of that. It's really well rendered. I love the face that you get of the Tensen initially in that opening title credits, where it's like wide open eyes, yellow hair, and they're kind of like morphing back into this like gelatinous mess of flowers. I love the look of that in the title. And then you see them later, you're like, oh yeah, I remember seeing these things and going, that's a weird part of this theme song, but this is cool. I want to see where, because like I like watching shows, watching the themes or the opening scroll, whatever you want to say, the fun title treatments, and going like, okay, where is this thing that they're putting in here as a theme going to end up in the show? And it's fun to see the Tensen show up there. But yeah, episode 7 is Flowers and Offerings, and this is the last one we're going to cover for this first half of our watch along for, well, not watch along, our coverage of Hell's Paradise, all told. But it starts with Azachobe and Toma confronted by the two Tensen. They see them as you know, interlopers. They're not supposed to be there, and they're like, how should we deal with them? And I forget exactly what they say, but they deal with them pretty quickly. Whiz, what exactly happens in this scene?
They basically immediately go murder mode because the angel Tencent, whatever they're what are they called? Tencent.
Tencent. Ten.
Tencent. Yeah. Okay. So the Tencent, they immediately say like, we're gods,
right?
And like, how dare you? And then the bandit leader kid is like, I am my own god,
right?
And any rules are made up and they're bullshit, and I'll kill you, and then I'll be your god just like I am my own god. And I was like, okay, that's a cool rationale, because like obviously they're just beings. I mean, they can be cut in half. Even if they are just like avatars of the island, you know, they're not completely impervious to harm. Right. And I like that they're overconfident at first. Like, they don't even think that any harm could come to them. And they don't even kill the people before they throw them in their compost pit. Because they're so overconfident. They're just like, whatever, we've beaten them up enough. They'll just become mulch. I don't know if there's a benefit to them still being alive. Like, maybe they still have to be alive to become flowers or something. I don't know.
I'm sure we'll find out for sure. Because it seems like there's a process, right? Where they basically, you know, like you said, they go murder mode, they grab them, and they basically just chuck both down a pit to be compost, I guess, people compost. But yeah, it goes from 0 to 100 pretty quick, and Ozza's like, I love the way he reacts to it. He's like, I don't care what you have to say. I love how rage mode he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Noah, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a fun scene, the dynamic between the brothers and these, like, you know, perfect beings sort of. Yeah, but they, you know, the way they are, like, just like, you know, plant people is like pretty clear. Like Wiz was saying earlier, like they don't have like any like sort of like features to their bodies. Like they're all just like just the body, you know, and it's like and then like you know, when they get slashed, they just, you know, instantly regrow that sort of plant life, you know, growing in through them, and then like they have like little like pieces of twig, like, you know, sticking out of
like
them.
in their tear ducts. Super cool.
So
it's a cool visual.
The twig cracking sound effect, anyone else pick up on that?
I did. That was some good Foley, I have to say.
I was like, holy goodness.
Yeah. It's like, you know, like, ooh, that was crispy. That's what I got from it. But yeah, they encounter them. They are immediately put in the compost pile, and Toma, like, is at the bottom of this pile, and he sees, you know, like all the other samurai or whatever down there too. They've kind of become part of the garbage disposal, if you will. Like they are starting to grow into the walls with like these like faint smiles on their faces, and some of them are still alive, some of them are dead. But yeah, it's a really haunting visual for sure, because that's kind of it's not where we leave them, but it kind of is until we kind of enter the next batch of episodes. Because after that, we cut back to the main group, Gabby Mara's group, and they encounter a young girl with pink hair, and they pursue her, but he basically fucks around and finds out, because she basically Nen punches him to the spirit realm or whatever, like in Doctor Strange or something, and he goes flying, and he's like, "Where did this come from?" I guess initially, what's your? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what's your thoughts on this first encounter with this little girl, Noah?
Yeah, it's it's like, oh yeah, they're just gonna grab this little girl and question her, and then little girl punch. It's pretty funny. They do it with like a lot of like levity too, like. Oh, the little girl just knocked the snot out of him.
It reminds me of Bisky from Hunter x Hunter a little bit, where they're like hiding this large woman kind of in this tiny girl's body, where it's like bam, and it's got packs a lot of punch. But we were talking about the Groot fella. That's kind of where we meet him. That she's being protected by this large wooding being who they summarily take out, and he kind of falls on the ground after that. After they're both defeated by Gabby Mara and Yuzuriha, the wooded being offers to take them to a village. At the village, the wooden being Hoko and his young companion Mei offer them fruit, and he tells them that they call the place Kotaku on the island of Shinseikyo. I found that funny because I read a lot of video game coverage. Reading the website Kotaku in a show was very funny to me. I don't know why. It's just an aside. But what did we think of? I guess Whiz, what do you think of Groot finally being introduced, and what are your thoughts of him as a character? Because he's kind of like a proto deity, but I don't know. I don't quite know what my thoughts are on him. What do you think?
I'm just like, okay, we have a Groot now. I wasn't too interested in Groot.
Oh, he seems nice.
He's fine. He's whatever, but I wasn't like, oh, I want to know Groot's backstory. I want to know his, like, I don't give a shit about this character. I really do not.
Oh man,
he's fine. It's
tough.
Just like, all right. It is tough being Groot. You're a tree. He's not very strong. It seems like his regeneration is slower than everyone else. It just seems like he got the short end of the immortality stick.
Okay, I was waiting for it.
Yeah, not to be like, stick. He's literally a fucking stick. But fucking, I think it's cool that he's kind of peaceful. He's like a little bit of a tree beard. He is another one of these folks that will just go with the flow. Maybe he's a bit too much go with the flow. Maybe that's why he turned into a tree. Because he's like, yeah, this village has been dilapidated for the past 1,000 years, but only the past 1,000 years. And it's like, okay, buddy, and you're just letting it happen? Maybe he likes roots being covered, maybe he likes the coverage of roots all over this village, but
someone just
it looks
cursed
like
him and
shit.
said, someone just cursed him and said, make it like a tree and leaf, and he turned into a big stick man. Could
Yeah.
definitely be the case. Yeah.
It's like, good for him. He runs a little bathhouse, but like everything's so god awful looking. What has he been doing for 1,000 years? Maybe we'll find out. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know if we'll get enough coverage on Hoko as a character, but he's a fun little guy. He seems like a mascotty type. He seems relatively inoffensive and harmless, really. He basically says, like, I have no ill feelings towards you. I don't like you. I am pretty neutral towards you. I'm just telling you the truth about literally everything I'm saying, right?
I do like how, when Gabby Mara runs off and Sagiri's like, I gotta go chase after Gabby Mara, so you guys take care of the tree guy. And and then Senta's like, all right, it's time for a man to square up and take care of this. And then Yuzuriha is like, nope, I got this. Don't worry. You go do something else, buddy. You just
Which is a hilarious thing to do because he was just tied up, not wanting to be involved.
She's like, no, I got this. And then she's like, drinks a thing and like then she's like all like slimy. I don't know.
Yeah,
I thought it was funny.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's like
it's
sticks her tongue out too. I was just laughing. I'm like, why is she sticking her tongue out? Because she's all slimy.
It's like
Maybe
a weird.
she has some sort of lick attack, like a lick tongue attack.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know, like a lysol secretion or something. It feels like it must be like a thing she imbibed, and then that's like her superpower, I guess.
Yeah, well, I bet that it's like some kind of like toxin or poison or something. She's like secreting it because she like drank the thing, and so like she's immune to it because of her training, and she probably like paralyzes Treebeard or something like that with like.
Oh yeah, they don't really get into that, do they? Yeah. I guess not.
The slime toxin or whatever probably paralyzes him, and that's probably how she defeats him. But it's just a funny scene with her and Senta.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and not a lot to remark on for Hoko other than being a plot device. He just tells them what is going on and where to go and kind of the setting, and like he talks about the ice shoe, the Hojo, and the tan at some point. But it's the interesting part is May. She's kind of a mysterious character. We don't really get to know much about her in this episode, but they offer them food. I love Senta going like, we should ask them what's going on pretty soon because I am starving, brother. It's so good. Literally foaming at the mouth. Yeah. He's like, I'm going to eat everything.
Those peaches, though.
They did look good, I will say. I was like, I'm not like that for food in movies or shows, but I'm like, I would rip up that peach. I would eat that. That looks all right. Yeah, they like all kind of commiserate around the table with a bunch of fruit. They basically say like, yeah, the kid eats this. It's fine. You're not going to die. It's not poisoned, not laced or anything. And Gabby Maru's like, yeah, I'm still not going to eat whatever. And I don't know if Sagiri eats either. I didn't really notice, but both of them decline at least initially. And then from there, Hoko basically shows how Shinsekio is like divided up into. It's 3 regions, kind of with like an inner ring, outer ring, and then an outermost ring, all called basically the shore in the forest is the Eishu. The village that they're in is Hojo, and then the elixir Tan is located in the central region of mists called Horai, which is inhabited by the godlike Tenzin we met earlier, who are immortal, I guess. So as far as I know, they're in the Hojo, so the secondary layer, right? The Tan is what they call the elixir, and then the Horai is the innermost ring. Am I correct about that? I'm pretty sure that's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And basically he talks about the Tenzin, and this is when Senta really like imparts his kind of findings about the area in general and how the different religious, statues have kind of combined, and we get into all that basically as we've talked through these episodes. That's kind of the point where he kind of imparts all this information. But yeah, I guess what do you guys think of this kind of like dinner/lunch scene? Because we're kind of winding down this episode, and this is kind of a lot of exposition they're throwing at you with a lot of like nouns, right? Proper nouns. I guess what do you think of it to start, Noah?
Yeah, I did want to reflect that after like the battle with Treebeard, when they're negotiating, Yuzuriha's kind of heading negotiations, and she's like, all right, Treebeard, what do you got for us? He's like, oh, well, I can take you to the village. She's like, well, that's not really what we want to do. She's like, and then he's like, well, I can give you food if you give me the kid back. And she's like, we got food. We don't need that. He's like, I have a bath? And she's like, yeah, okay, we're gonna go. Let's go. I'm gung-ho for that.
She walks away. She goes like, bath.
Yeah,
bath,
she's just so impulsive. Yeah. It's so much fun. But the whole just like exposition stuff. Yeah, it's I think it's done straight and to the point. It's like, yeah, this is how our world building for this island works, and this is step 1, 2, and 3 of how this island's put together. This is our MacGuffin, the Tan, and this is how the MacGuffin is created. We grind people up and make them into plants and eat the plant stuff, and that's the entire thing solved. There you go.
Yeah, And it then after that segues into leading back with Chobe and Toma. But what do you think about the dinner scene in general, Wiz?
That food looks like if I've ever seen poisoned food, that would be it.
Exactly.
Like it's just way too big, way too juicy.
Mm-hmm.
The peaches look like perfect little Neapolitan tushies. Like it's just way too good to be true. I completely related with the main character as not wanting to eat any of that shit and not trusting the tree.
Yeah, right.
Also, the little girl, like when he pointed the sword at the little girl, and everyone was like, "Congratulations, you're an asshole."
Yeah.
I was like, "What?" I was like, "Well, kill her!" Like everyone knows that she's not a little girl. She's probably been alive for thousands of years.
Right. But she's
just
basically a
nonverbal.
girl and everything.
Yeah,
age probably.
In mind,
It
yeah.
seems like she
Mentally
was stunted, like her growth was stunted emotionally and physically. But like, I would see anything on that island as a potential threat. So like, I resonate with that.
Yeah.
And like, the littlest little bee sting could cause you to instantly die. Well, not instantly, but you know, basically die or get a fungal infection that will kill you in a matter of days. So yeah, the whole scene was a little on edge for me. I wasn't necessarily believing the tree, and I was surprised that everyone else was, but then the tree was like, "You're all gonna fucking die. It doesn't really matter what happens." And then I was like, "Oh, it is the perspective of a tree in a forest."
Yeah.
Like, the world will go on. It doesn't matter. Like, you know, I'm just a tree.
He basically says that, yeah, I'm just shooting it to you straight. I have no right or wrongs to levy against you. Like, I'm just telling you, you're probably going to die here. Eat the food. It's not poisoned, you know? And yeah, I understand not taking that face value because I agree that if any fruit could be poisoned, that fruit looked hella poisoned to me. But
made me think of like the Persephone and Hades story of like eating the pomegranate seeds in the underworld. I was like, all these people are fucked, and the main character is the only one that's getting out. But we'll see. We'll see if that's the case.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, this segues into Chobe and Toma turning into the source of Tan, basically becoming the essential piece to the elixir in the kind of, I don't know what you want to call it, the little hole in the ground that the Tenzin drop them in. So that's kind of like the end of their characters, at least for the episode. I'm sure we'll see them again. But kind of to round out the episode is a little bit of levity, which I appreciated after kind of a lot of exposition, some fighting here and there, and a lot of consternation. They kind of like bathe and kind of shape up a little bit, and it feels like we're ready for the next leg of the journey, because basically like Gabimaru, Sagiri basically remarks that Gabimaru is like a cat and does not like to take baths or be wet at all or whatever. And he basically is made to strip and clean himself and to bathe. And she kind of like takes charge of the entire bathhouse area where she takes care of Gabimaru and then Mei as well. Cleans her hair and everything. She's never been cleaned. They use all the oils and soaps that no one has opened basically in the bathhouse, and she basically like makes them nice and clean for the journey ahead. But yeah, any final thoughts on this episode as a whole, this bath scene? I guess what do you guys think?
I thought the bath scene was actually pretty dope because she like wanted. It kind of reminded me of like a more innocent version of Bulma giving Goku a bath because I just started watching Dragon Ball.
Right.
But she sees that this child is unkempt and probably has been for thousands of years. So she doesn't even only use the soaps and stuff that are there. She brings out her own special scrubs that she brought from a whole other land. And she tries to impart this culturally significant thing to her, to these other two people. Like, our main character just wants to clean their wounds and get out, basically, because they hate water. And they have, like, a sensory issue with that. But I think it just expands the main characters more. Like, they have compassion, and they're not just like, okay, let's get this elixir. They actually see people Like they don't see a monster, they don't see a plant monster when they look at the girl. They see a person basically.
Right.
And I just thought that was nice. Like they're not it goes to show that they're not as monstrous as the rest of the people and like their superiors.
Yeah, there's depths and levels to each character and kind of their pathos that I really appreciate. And it, seeing them stripped away of all their what's the word? I guess their verve for basically they're in a resting moment, I guess. They're not like actively out on the chase for whatever. They're taking a moment to sit a spell and just relax, right? Yuzuriha finally gets her bath. I'm sure Noah's stoked about that because she's happy, and even Sagiri takes a bath. Everyone kind of gets to a level where they're kind of comfortable. But yeah, no. Any final thoughts about that?
Yeah, I like the interaction with the May, his little girl's name, and Sagiri at the beginning stages of Sagiri's like the protector figure sort of for May, besides like the tree, and then like during this like bathhouse scene is like they come to like terms with May comes to terms with like Gabimaru, and he's kind of like it's like, yeah, you shouldn't be so hard on your scars. You shouldn't be ashamed of them because they're part of who you are and make up who you are. And so he kind of sees his wife a little bit, and just like the little girl as well. He's like reminded of his wife, and so it's like, be proud of who you are. So
yeah, they have that little
happy about that. Yeah.
Right, they had that little aside where it cuts to the memory of his wife, and she's always covering her face slightly because of the scar that she received when she was a kid. It was like a hot flat iron or something, like basically gouged her face, and she's somewhat ashamed of it. You can see, but even he's totally scarred and he's not perfect, and he's like, I don't care. You can drop the facade for me. It's fine. And you can tell she really appreciates that in the past. But she doesn't she deflects a little bit and goes like, I just like my hair that way, But really, it's a nice tender moment you don't normally see from Gabimaru, because usually it's her being sweet to him, but he's being sweet to her in turn. I really like that touch, for sure. Yeah. Any thoughts about that scene in particular, Wiz?
I thought it was interesting that she was given the scar by the chieftain in order to remove her from the life of an average woman, but then he ended up wanting to marry her off to his protege. So I was like, okay, what's the deal with that? Like, why is she not average? That, like, I thought she was gonna be groomed to be like this warrior for the chieftain. Maybe she's being groomed to be the next chieftain or something, I don't know. But the fact that she was saying she was given this scar to differentiate herself from the rest of the women folk, I didn't really. I was like, maybe we'll see more of the reasoning later.
Yeah, I saw it as an excuse for bad behavior personally. That's just me, but I'm sure there's more that ties in with it. I'm not sure.
So from what I understood from that interaction, she wanted to go and leave the village, like initially, like she was wanting to go out and just be like normal, not live within the village, because what was expected of women in that village was to stay in the village and birth children.
That's right.
It's back to that whole like women are meant to birth children sort of ideology. But she wanted to go out into the wider world and maybe do like trad wave things, but not for the village, just to essentially breed more ninjas for the village. She wanted to go out and be her own person, and obviously the chief didn't want that, and that's why he scarred her so that she would be unpleasant to men, because especially like within context of that culture in particular, like Japanese culture, like a scar anywhere is like, you're no good for anything anymore. You're useless besides for like breeding purposes, like absolutely useless like as a woman.
Gotcha.
So that's what that culture is.
Right. Yeah.
For that time
Yeah,
period.
that's a tough look. I forgot that entire sequence. Yeah, I'm glad you reminded me of that. But yeah, it's nice to kind of end up in a place where everybody is resting, because there has been a lot of action up this far and a lot of social dynamics, so it feels like kind of, I initially thought episode 6 was like, the crescendo of like a large moment, and I'm like, oh, it would have been good to stop there. But reaching the end of 7, when everybody's kind of like resting and relaxing, it's nice to have like a cut there too. I like that. On the whole, I thought these first 7 episodes really good, really good. It's one of my favorite, I guess, first halves of a show I've seen in a while. I'm so bad about finishing stuff personally. Like, I will watch half a show and sometimes get bored of it or whatever. This one, I mean, we're definitely going to finish it anyway, but even if I weren't doing this, it would have hooked me for episode 1 too, right? Yeah. Any final thoughts on anything that we watched this week, Whiz?
Just thanks for recommending it to me. It's pretty cool. I probably wouldn't have watched this if you did. Well, I definitely wouldn't have, actually. I didn't even know about this. So thanks for recommending it to me. I enjoyed myself. It's definitely better than like most of the anime I've seen, which is it's nice. I like it exactly for what it is. The themes are very interesting. The animation is beautiful. That's a really big part for me when I'm watching an anime. Like, there's some anime where I will just turn it off if it, like, from season to season, if the animation drops in quality, I'm just like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
But this was so beautiful. Like, I really loved it. It's great. Fantastic for what it is.
Yeah, for sure. I totally 100% echo that. And we have another batch of episodes we want to tackle at some point, if you do want to join us again, Wiz, because it's a good time so far, and I'm kind of, it's building somewhere with these relationships, with this action, with the story itself, and this being like a kind of decent break in the middle. I'm really excited to kind of see the downslope of it, because by the time we meet here again, we'll have finished it all, right? If you do indeed want to join us again, feel free.
Cool, yeah, I'm down to clown.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a really good show. I mean, it was really Naruto who recommended it to me initially. I was like, oh, I've never really heard of Hell's Paradise, and then I remembered, I'm like, oh, we wanted to do this kind of TV show watch along thing, and I remember he said it was good. I'm like, I should check it out. I'm like, you know what? If everyone's interested, maybe we make this the first thing, right? And I remember you saying you wanted to watch it again anyway. So, yeah, I'm glad this worked out, dude. This was a good time. Thanks for the conversation, especially Wiz. Thanks for coming on by.
Yeah, anytime. I actually recorded myself watching this today, all in one sitting.
Okay.
So
Nice.
I'll edit that up, and then I don't know if you want any of that footage, I'll send it to you.
That'd be great.
But yeah. Great show.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on, folks.
Yeah, I think for sure. I think if it works out for everybody, maybe we do this 2 weeks from now. Is that okay with everyone? If not, we can move it. We'll figure it out, I guess, as schedules evolve, whatever. But that's the tentative plan, I imagine, because we do want to watch 8 through 13 of Hell's Paradise. But this is the first edition of Tape Stuck in general. We're not going to always do shows, I think. But it's nice to start with something meaty.
Yeah, we'll tackle movies too at some point, I'm sure. So.
And it'd be easier to watch something shorter too. It's easier to just talk about that in a structure. But it's nice to kind of feel this out, this sort of like long form discussion, even broken up in 2 episodes. So, this has been awesome. Thanks for joining us, guys. I had a great time. If I did a good job, great. If I didn't, boo me, please.
You did wonderful. We love you.
Thank you. I love you guys too. But yeah, keep it. I mean, I don't want to say keep it locked to IGN because we're not IGN, but keep the stick drifting with our channel. Next week's episode will hit your feeds at some point.
Yeah.
We love you guys. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time for the second half of Hell's Paradise. Peace.
See ya.